We live in a world today unlike any other time. Today, right now, we have more opportunity. We have more technology. We have more ways to be able to achieve our dreams than any other time ever in the history of the world, ever. And we are at the brink of it. We are standing on the precipice, about ready to tumble into this massive, massive opportunity.
Right. Well, some people feel like the internet, like they missed the boat. It didn't even start yet. Like it's still an embryo, right?
Welcome to the Quick Talk Podcast with Joshua Latimer, where we discuss business, life, family, faith, struggle, fire, pain, and ultimately winning.
It's time to take massive action. Look, I can't work harder on your life or business than you do. It's ultimately all on you.
You know, God created all the food the birds would ever need, but he doesn't put it in their nest. You've got to go get it.
10 out of 10 people die. So how about doing something today that actually matters while you still can? Hey everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'm excited even though my nose is clogged and my ear is clogged because I'm back. I get to talk to you guys. I have a guest. I've been on a slight hiatus from podcasting because this winter, frankly, has been crazy for me. It's been absolutely nuts. But look, my job has not changed, and my job is to deliver you actionable, real-life, high-level value that you can apply to your life and your business right after listening to this episode. And I have a good friend of mine named Tim Croll to interview today. Now, Tim, I met him just a few months ago through a accountability group that a mutual friend of ours put together. He's got an incredible story. He's super, super nice guy. We've hung out in person. We've talked a lot, and he has a ton of value to share. Tim, how the heck are you?
Awesome, dude. I am so excited to be here. Love it.
Yeah,
Can't wait to get jumping into this stuff.
Me either. And the hard part with interviewing you is your story is so elastic and you've done so many different things. You've been a part of many multi-million-dollar businesses. You've had, pain and suffering. You've had, all kinds of stuff mixed together. And really, you call yourself a business adventurist. That's how you describe yourself. What exactly does that mean? Because our show is mostly small service companies, things like that. Give us some insight into what your deal is and how you got here.
Well, the business adventurist came from the fact that everybody kept asking, like, what do you do? What do you do? And like you said, I've been in a lot of different businesses. I've been on a lot of different journeys, and I've found things that work, things that don't work. I've been crushed. I've been hurt. I've been flat broke, losing houses, and then, obviously building multi-million-dollar businesses. So my range of emotions are like all over the freaking place. And what I found in life is that whether it's our business and our life is we're all on this journey. On some way, we are on this journey. And so what I have found because of my experiences and my different pieces in life, I liken myself to a guide, so I can come in and I can actually see things pretty clearly. And that's like my special superpower is actually being able to see a business and actually come up with a strategic plan and note what actually needs to be fixed in it. And so I look at you and where are you at on your life journey? And a lot of times we get on these paths and we start walking down these paths, but we don't have a guide and we don't know which way to go. And so we don't know if we're lost. We don't know if we're on the right track. We don't know if we have enough supplies to get to the end. And that business adventurist, that just allows me to be able to come alongside individuals and help them get to that next stage in their journey.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I always tell people, because it's totally true. Like from the outside perspective, you can look at other people's business and it's so clear so often. So I can look at someone I'm working with and say, oh my gosh, we just got to do this and this. That's it. And they're like, that's it? I'm like, yeah, that's it. They're like, are you serious? That's it? I'm like, and the reason why is because I'm not down in the weeds. I'm not in the war stabbing people, surviving. I'm up on the hill kind of looking down. And because you have so much experience in business and you've been through it, I think that's what makes you be able to see it so clear, right?
Yeah, well, you can see something that's coming a mile away. It's saying like, look, this is going to hurt. This is going to hurt. It's like, don't go down this road. So, but here's the other thing too. And I want to make sure this is really clear because every individual, whether it's you, me, even those that own their own businesses, they have a unique skill set. They have something that's very special to them. There's an individuality. And just because they may be a little bit lost now doesn't mean that they're less of a person. It just means that they may not have that certain skill set to be able to take care of whatever that challenge is that's coming up, whether it's Facebook or social media or strategic planning, something along those lines. There's maybe just one little piece that could come along and help that individual with their already great skill set. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we all have some sort of superpower, like you said.
Yeah.
But even
absolutely.
Superman, he's probably a terrible cook or something. Like he's probably crappy at something, right?
There's got to be. Well, I think he's a crappy editor, maybe, or something. I don't know.
Yeah. His cover job was probably all crap. He's probably terrible. He just used spell check constantly. Anyway, so let's talk a little bit about marketing because I'm excited. I want to tell people how many gajillions of dollars you've generated online because it's like mind-boggling. But we'll get to that in a minute. But trust me, everybody, Tim knows stuff when it comes to digital marketing. And so when I asked him to come on the show, I'm like, okay, Tim, you're in this weird, interweb world of, automated funnels and ads and all this stuff. How can we translate value back to a local service business? How can we? And the one thing I thought of was like this idea of like multi-touch marketing. And because the local businesses, they live in a tangible, tactile world, but we're also starting to get into the Facebook ad stuff. Like it's a huge hot topic right now. Everybody's trying to figure out how to geo-target and how to get their messaging and build a funnel, like further like carpet cleaning business or whatever.
Right.
But then, you can tie direct mail and yard signs and like physical presence in certain neighborhoods. Like all those touches, like saturating a neighborhood, like that's how, in my experience, we get the best results. Can you just like expand on that and add value?
Absolutely. Yeah. So let me back up a little bit in the story just to kind of create a little more clarity on this. The best thing that I can say is really where I saw digital, social media, whatever you want to whatever you want to title it, whatever you want to call it, was back in 2009. And at that point in time in my life, I was actually working with a company called FXI, a huge corporation. One of the products that they were working on is actually a gutter filtration system. At that time, it was called Leaf to Fire. I'm not even sure if it's called that anymore, but me and one other guy, we ended up building that company to, I think we were doing about $15 million a year. When we started, it was only doing about 100,000. But the point is the fact there were two specific ways that we were actually building out that brand. The first one was obviously a lot of guerrilla marketing, which I think, you yourself, Joshua, you're very familiar with, probably everybody else is very familiar with as far as just going on the phone and calling people. But the second way was actually building out the brand. And building out the brand was through our social structure. Now, in the corporate world in 2009, I was kind of like the rebel, to be quite frank, because nobody wanted to hear about social media. Nobody wanted to hear about Facebook because there was this up and coming digital thing. They all wanted to rely on the old school marketing, which is mailers, billboards, flyers, door hangers, like all of these other things. And those are all great and they have their uses. But this whole digital thing started evolving. And started coming to what we are all now kind of clamoring, trying to figure out. And it's still evolving. I mean, so it's not even finished yet, but it's such an up and coming thing. So that's what I saw in 2009. And so since that point in time, going through a couple of different businesses and things, here's what I have found. And I'm not sure if this is your exact question. So, correct me if I'm getting off track.
No, this is good. Here. This is good. Keep rolling.
Right. So here's what I found, especially when you're talking about social media. Most people come at it from a perspective that they want to apply everything that they've learned about actual paper media or old school marketing, and they want to apply that to your social media. And so they're all about all of these different things, and they're all about trying to figure out how to create the best kind of looking ad and blah, 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 blah. It just goes on and forever. When it's really, truly very, very simple. Facebook was created to build relationships. So your goal, when you're talking about marketing via social media, the goal is to actually strengthen a relationship. That's the whole goal. Now, there's a whole lot of other things that come along with that, other things that we can actually talk about as far as how to actually create an ad, how to set it up and like all of these really cool things. But at the core of it, it's you telling your story and building that relationship with your customer.
Oh my gosh.
There is no other means. There is no other means that gives you the feedback as quick as social media.
Dude, Tim, this is like epic. I have goosebumps right now, and I'm dead serious. I'm not even exaggerating because I never even thought of this. Like I'm having an epiphany, but you're right. Old style, old world marketing, let's look at Yellow Pages as an example. Everything was based on transactions. It was transactional. And in the new media, the social aspect is all relational. And I talk about relationship marketing all the time because that's what Send Jim does, my app. That's part of what it does. And so I'm passionate about that, but I never thought of social in that simple of a context. And that's why you have huge brands doing like videos that are like 97% entertainment and 3% call to action and stuff, is because they're building a relationship. That's crazy, because a Yellow Page ad, someone has a leaky pipe, they find a plumber, they do a transaction, that's it. But now it's different. It's more emotional than that. I mean, keep going, keep expanding on that.
Yeah. So and that's, don't take this wrong, because there needs to be calls to action. There needs to be some of that old school marketing. There needs to be part of that in Facebook. But everybody always wants to jump to that, and they miss the fact that they're actually building relationships with their customers on Facebook. And that's really what, and again, if you look at some of the core things of why Facebook was built, and the reason why some posts go viral and some posts don't go viral, and you start to see all these pictures of the cats, and it's because people can relate. And there's an emotional attachment to that, and that relationship is being built. Now, this is one of the core foundations. And I mean, shoot, everybody talks about how to go about sales. I'm sure probably everyone in the audience has actually had some kind of sales training. I'm sure everyone has heard about the know, like, trust. But holy cow, when you look at Facebook and the ability now to reach anyone, anywhere, virtually whenever they're online, it's really, I'll use this word, and I don't know if it's coined or whatever, but it's really all about life marketing. It's really all about being where they are at and building that relationship. So you're actually building and creating value in their life. And that's really what life marketing is. So you have a two-way transaction that's going on social media versus what you're saying about the transactional, which is your, again, door hangers and flyers and mailers and all the other things, which are really, really good. I don't want to discount those, but this extra piece just kind of takes it to a whole new level.
Oh yeah, we gotta stay sharp. We gotta move. And if you're not growing, you're dying. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Tim. I talk to hundreds and hundreds of people, so many people. And the people that I can see, a lot of the young guys, that their business might not be huge, but they kind of get it, and I can tell that they get it. And I'm talking to them, I'm like, I would invest in you. Like, you're going to win, and you can see it. And some of the people that are really hesitant to change or to at least investigate and learn and adapt, they're going to have more and more pain as we move forward. Because actually, and I don't want to totally change the topic, but the marketplaces that are popping up, right, for service providers. So you have like the Angie's Lists, and you have like Home Advisor, and actually Google and Facebook are both going to become a marketplace where they're like a gateway between you and customers, and like customers can hire service providers on there. Like people that don't get on board with that and position themselves to understand what the heck is going on, I really think over the next few years they're going to have significant pain and loss by not doing that. Do you agree?
I 100%. And let me tell a story on this, just because I think this is going to emphasize exactly the point that we're talking about. You basically have a choice in life. You can either stay exactly where you are inside of that box, or you can actually grow outside of that box. And that's the pain that you're talking about. So often we get in that trap of thinking, well, this is all that I know, this is all that I can do. And there's a fear of that change. There's a fear of actually taking those steps and learning a little about something. There's a gentleman that I'm friends with. He owns a tub resurfacing company. And just like many, many of us, I mean, he was working for a company. He was doing decent salary, but he was building big man's dream. He wasn't building his own dream. And so what he found is all of a sudden one day he didn't have a job. And he's like, he came to me and said, Tim, what the heck am I going to do? I mean, and there was a lot of panic in his voice and a lot of worry and a lot of fear, because he had been so working on building somebody else's dream that he hadn't started doing his own. So what he ended up doing was actually, he has a franchise for a tub resurfacing company. And he came to me and said, hey, I need some advice on being able to get more leads, get more traffic, get more customers. I really don't know how to do it. I'm not quite sure on all of some of the social media stuff. We spent half of a day together, and I walked him through how to do a couple of just local ads. I asked him some very specific questions about, I'm going to say avatar. Some people know what an avatar is, but just real quick, an avatar is a full description of your specific client, specific customer. So he came back to me and he said, hey, this is my avatar. This is exactly what I'm looking for. These are the ages. These are the type of people that I want. How do I go about actually doing this? I said, okay, let's take a look at Facebook. You've got a page. You've only got like maybe a couple hundred likes on the page. That's not a big deal. It's not a game changer, because now what we're going to do is actually create an ad account. And that ad account attached to your social page gives you access to literally the entire world. You can put an advertisement in front of the entire world. Now, if you're a service provider and you don't want to be going to Hawaii for something because you live in Michigan, well, shoot, we're not going to advertise to Hawaii, So you gotta look at geography. But what he did is he actually started running $10 a day ads, $10. That was it. In 2 weeks, he calls me up and says, Tim, I'm going to have to hire somebody because I got too many people. I was like, in 2 weeks? He said, yeah. I said, I had to actually stop my ads because I can't service everybody. He's like, nobody up here, this is obviously northern Michigan. He's like, nobody up here ever even heard about doing a tub resurface. Their only other option was, a complete bathroom remodel, which was tens of thousands of dollars. I'm coming in for half of that, and I've just got way too many leads. And so I just have to shut off my ads. I've got to hire more people. I'm like, oh, that's awesome, dude. I mean, I'm so excited for him. But he was able to literally build out his business to a point where he has to hire somebody, pay them. I think if I recall correctly, he's hiring somebody at $50,000, $60,000 a year just to handle the excess leads, not counting all the stuff that he's doing. So it's exciting to see what the potential is. It's exciting to see how he's running just a little bit of an ad on Facebook and doing some of these target things, building relationships.
Let's talk about life marketing, because I hear success stories like that for service companies, but then online there's other people saying, oh, I did that doesn't work. Oh, I tried that doesn't work. Facebook's ads are dumb, or it doesn't work in my area, right? That's another big one. What do they call that? In my area, IMA or whatever. Like, that's an excuse people use instead of figuring out how to become more of a ninja at something. They just say, well, I guess it's impossible for me specifically, right?
Well, it's the easy out.
So what are they doing wrong?
There's a couple of things. Some of it actually it's not really, and I don't mean to give credit to excuses. However, in this situation, I really believe this. There is so much misinformation that's out on the internet about Facebook ads. It's unbelievable. I heard somebody, this one guy who's a guru, his name's Russell Brunson. He said that 97% of the information that's out there about Facebook and how to run Facebook ads is wrong. Only 3% of all that information actually works. And so when you're looking at that, it's like, holy crap. So if I just go on Google and I just do a Google, how do I run a Facebook ad? It's very easy to see that they're getting wrong information. I mean, heck, 97% of all the information is wrong. Like, come on. So yes, I would actually say that they're probably getting wrong information. The most common thing that I find that people are doing wrong on Facebook is they create their Facebook page, and then all of a sudden they just start shouting all about, well, there's two common things. They start shouting all about themselves instead of actually trying to build a relationship. So the number one biggest mistake that I see is that they're not building a relationship. They're just screaming like somebody's on a soapbox saying, look at me, come buy from me, come get me, come. And they're not actually engaging and not building that relationship. So that's number one. Number two is actually how they run the ads. Facebook makes it super easy to boost a post, but nobody really has any really concept of what does it mean to boost a post? What the heck is that? I'm going to tell you, don't ever boost a post. Don't ever boost a post. The reason why you don't ever boost a post is because you don't have as much control over who is seeing that post. When you create an ads account, which is pretty simple once you actually start to understand it, create an ads account, you can now target age, geography, interest. You can target down to specific zip codes. You can target down, like, my goodness gracious, there is now no end. And there is no other tool that's as powerful as Facebook right now. None, bar none. There is no other tool that is that powerful. And the ability for you to target your exact avatar, your exact client, to be able to target them and say, look, I want to put this ad in front of them. That's the key. So you asked a question. I don't want to miss this because it was really important. You asked about life marketing, and I want to make sure I touch on that.
Yeah.
So those are the two mistakes. But here's the other mistake, and this is related to that first one in regards to look at me. What that is still old school marketing. That's still, hey, I'm going to go hang a door hanger. I'm going to put a billboard up. I'm going to actually send some direct mail. Again, not wrong. It's just not
You're
what
talking
Facebook
about interruption marketing, meaning you put
Correct.
You do an ad, and the ad's just like, call today for a 10% savings on something,
Correct.
something, right?
Correct. Yeah. I mean, like, how many times do you get irritated with commercials when you're in the middle of your favorite football game? Like, shoot, I stopped watching TV because I'm sick and tired of commercials.
Yeah.
I mean, in today's day and age, you've got Netflix and Hulu, and man, you can record everything, skip all the commercials, and people are tired of it. I mean, they're literally tired of it. So there's a new age in marketing now that's coming and building that relationship and creating articles or creating ads like, hey, asking a question to engage them. Like old school sales, what is that need? What is the problem? Identifying that, asking them a question like, hey, what's going on? Oh, you know what? I can maybe help you here, because you're creating that emotional connection and you're creating that relationship. And there's a lot of psychology and stuff that goes into that. But bottom line is the fact that the life marketing happens when they are in the process of doing something rather than all of a sudden, boom.
I'm wondering too if seasonality is really, really important for service companies, because like when the weather breaks here in Michigan, I know you're in northern Michigan, but when it breaks and people kind of come out of their cave and the sun hits them and they're like hissing at it, like, and they kind of, we wake up from our hibernation, but we're happy and we look at how dirty our house is and we want to get clean. We want to open the windows. We want to, that is an emotional part of the ad too, right? It's not just a transaction, but the timing of all of those details, right?
Yeah. And in all fairness too, and this is the other thing too that I have found people don't quite understand, is there's a cycle. In any marketing, any business, there's always a cycle. I've got interest in several different companies, and one of the companies happens to be an apparel company. The cycle for apparel is we have higher sales the second and fourth quarter. First quarter and third quarter are lower. I have my belief on why that is, but I'm sure that's the case in every business.
Yes.
Every business is going to have a cycle. You're going to have higher, maybe you have a high second and third quarter, and your fourth and first quarter are, terrible, and you have to plan for that. And that's the cycle that happens. So yes, there's definitely cycles. There's definitely times that are going to be better for companies and sometimes it's like you can't keep up with the work, and other times you're sitting on your butt waiting for a phone call, So
that is so good. And look, we're only 15, 20 minutes into this conversation, and you're just dropping gold from heaven for these people. I want to shift gears a little bit.
Okay, go.
I want to talk more about kind of you and your story. Like, you've done some crazy stuff, and I mentioned you're from northern Michigan, which I didn't know anybody made money online in northern Michigan. I just thought retired people lived up there in their little cabin, in the woods. But apparently there's some empires being built. Well, you've done a lot of stuff. A couple of the notes I notated that I thought were most impressive were you helped build a company, I think a t-shirt company, that was doing like $10,000 a month online. And you built an affiliate program or some sort of system. It took them to $7 million a month. A month. How in the heck do you sell $7 million a month worth of T-shirts? Like, what? How? Yeah. Tell us about that. Tell us about all the brag on yourself a little bit.
Oh, I don't need to brag. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. I mean, that's what it is. So, I mean, the cool thing is I've had incredible opportunities. Sometimes when opportunity comes, sometimes it hurts and sometimes it's awesome. And then you just have the things that have been offered to you in life. And so that's one of the things that I've found is to look for the good and not necessarily focus on the negative. So talking about Sunfrog specifically, when I joined up with them, I believe it was June or July, and I can't recall what year it was, but I was with them for about 2 years. So when I first started with them, they had 2 clients. And Facebook actually made a change right when I was working with them. They went from being able to show everything that is on your Facebook page to 100% of your followers to only 10% of your followers actually see what's on your page. That's why ads are so important. We can talk about that later too. That's a whole nother thing in regards to Facebook. But
yeah, I remember that change. Yeah, because having a business page used to be like having a personal profile. Like if people liked it and you post, they all saw it. But yeah, that got totally wiped out, right?
Yep, totally. And everybody panicked. And that happened when I started working with Sunfrog. That's exactly what happened. So when I started with them, they had 2 main clients, some big pages that had millions of followers. And as soon as that change happened, those 2 clients went away. So yes, when I was there, they were doing about $10,000 a month with those 2 clients. And it was like, oh, this is going to continue to last forever. When that happened, everybody came and said, oh, I guess we're done. Everything's all done. We're never going to be able to do this again. I'm like, whoa. We got a whole world out there that's still waiting. And that's when Facebook introduced their ads and their ad platform and all of the power editor and everything else that goes into it. What I found specifically is we put together a strategy, and that strategy was we opened up a platform that was a medium, and it married two key components together. Now, it was t-shirts. So there were two things that I saw. First of all, in the industry, there are people that have an incredible ability to drive traffic. They can drive traffic through social media. They can drive traffic through blogs or emails or, there's about 20 different ways that they can drive traffic. And there's huge, huge power in that. And they understand it. And again, going back to the individuality, man, they got traffic. They know how to drive traffic. What they didn't have was something to actually sell to them. And so we've got this other group of individuals that are artists and understood how to create really cool designs and be able to put stuff on t-shirts. So what we did is we married them together, and we created an affiliate/artist model. And inside of that, what we were able to do is I was basically the only one working at that time until we hired on more. I was able to actually go out and find key influencers that knew how to drive traffic, got them to sign on, and where they had Facebook pages that were making zero money, all of a sudden they were starting to make 1,000, 2,000, 5,000. Some of those clients have now made over millions of dollars selling t-shirts online. And everybody's like, what the heck? How in the world can you make that much money selling t-shirts online? Well, they understand the power of traffic. They understand conversions. They understand how to move it. So with Sunfrog, we harnessed the power of the affiliate. Now, affiliate is just somebody that drives traffic and gets paid to drive traffic. We harness the power of the affiliate to drive traffic to Sunfrog. Sunfrog is now, I don't know how big it is, but they're ranking pretty high on the Alexa, and they're becoming quickly a pretty large brand. But I worked with them for 2 years, and we got that boulder. You know how hard it is to push a business up the hill. We got that boulder over the mountain and just started rolling, and the momentum just carried it. But that was the goal, is to get that company so they could continue to grow, and it has grown.
I love the boulder analogy too. And have you ever heard the quote that the last 10% of any project takes as much effort as the first 90?
Yep.
And I've experienced that. Just to pivot even more and to be transparent with our listeners. So my app, Send Jim, which is what I've met with you about, and we've talked and worked on some things. I've been working for years trying to figure out, how to build this app and get it to work right, and how do you do support, and a totally different business model than anything I've ever done in my life. Way harder than my service company. Hardest thing I've ever done, Tim. And the things that come easy to these mysterious traffic driving people you're talking about, I can't even wrap my head around how to do that. Because now I've showed you the Radius Bomb tool that we have coming out, which is literally
pretty sweet. I love it.
Yeah, it scares me a little because it's so epic. It's such a hugely valuable thing to the right people, where you can just circle on a map and target a whole neighborhood with. And anyway, but I don't have all the other pieces together. I feel like I'm still pushing the rock up the hill, and I'm really, really close. We're so close. I can feel it. But there's little pivots and things I need to do. I mean, How do I get over the hill, and how can we relate that in a way to someone's service company where maybe they're close to having real momentum and having a team around them? Is it because I need a bigger team? Is it because I'm trying to push it up the hill by myself? Is it because, because the product's incredible. How do I sell $20 million worth of my product?
Right. That's a big question, man. How much time do we have?
I just throw it out there. Hey, Tim, tell me how to sell $20 million worth.
That sounds like it's like a week planning session. Let's get together and actually plan this thing out, man.
It can happen so fast. And I've met so many people this last year in this whole internet world, and even in the service world, people with $10 million businesses, $20 million, and they just throw it around like it's no big deal. Well, it's a huge deal to someone who hasn't done that. But I can also intellectually understand, yes, this could happen fast. We could literally sell $20 million worth of this stuff in 18 months. It's just math. Enough people need it for sure.
Yep.
What is the biggest thing I could focus on to help with that?
Because, shoot, man, we live, let me just caveat this entire thing here and just put parentheses around. We live in a world today unlike any other time. Today, right now, we have more opportunity. We have more technology. We have more ways to be able to achieve our dreams than any other time ever in the history of the world, ever.
Yeah. Yes.
And we are at the brink of it. We are standing on the precipice, about ready to tumble into this massive, massive opportunity.
Right. Well, some people feel like the internet, they missed the boat. It didn't even start yet. It's still an embryo, right? Oh
my goodness. We're just barely even got our toe dipped in the water right now. And there's huge, huge opportunity. You have not missed the boat. You have not missed the boat at all. So this world, this oyster that we can actually claim, You don't even need all of it. You only need this little tiny extra section, and then that's defined and you differentiate yourself and part of the story. So, like with you, just to make sure and clarify too, you've already got your story. You've already got your mission. You've got your core values. You've got your product. All right. That's all you got, all that, right? Now,
Yep.
Okay. So now what we're looking at is, okay, how do we get this out there? How do we actually take this product to market? And there's two main things that I see is, number one is understanding the industry that you're going to target. So for example, a lot of your clients are service providers. Inside of service providers, you have everything from window cleaners to pest control to bird control to, holy cow, there's a ton of different providers out there that do different things.
And this is what drives me nuts, because I don't know who my avatar is. We have realtors, we have car dealerships that use our product, we have roofing companies, every home service company you can think of. We have oil change place using our product.
Wow. Yeah, and it can apply to everybody. So here's the challenge is you've got all of this opportunity and you're dividing yourself among multiple industries instead of focusing on just one industry. And the reason why I'm going to say that is that one industry, once you understand it and you're able to grasp all of the different nuances, the language that they use, it's amazing to me in each industry, everybody uses a different language. They have different words that mean the same thing. So when we're looking at that, and let me refer back to FXI for a minute, because what we did in FXI is we actually started that company selling directly to contractors.
You're talking about
the gutter protection.
Yeah.
Yep. So we started selling directly to contractors. Then we kind of broke in and we actually found that there was this whole world of a niche of contractors that actually did gutter installation. And so we started targeting gutter installation. Then we found that we were able to actually build a model around gutter installers, and we created the marketing, the words that needed to be there. Like, hey, you can do an add-on to this. Instead of making $1,000, you can make an extra $500 per job. And that's how we were able to build up the gutter contractors. Then I was tasked to be able to find out, okay, what is another industry that we can break into? And for me, what we did is we took off after pest control industry. Now, with the pest control, they don't really care that, the water is going to run through the gutter. They don't really care about the fact they're going to keep the leaves out. That's not the language that they use. What they use is how do we control the moisture around the base of the house to keep termites from getting in? How do we prevent ants from all of the debris that's wet and moist, all the moisture that happens up around the eaves? How do we keep mosquitoes from breeding in there? Like all of those things, we now had to actually shift our marketing. Same exact product, but we had to shift the marketing a little bit to actually hit their pain points or to be able to solve the problems that they didn't know how to solve. Yes. And that's how we were able to sell into the pest control and build out that entire industry. So with you specifically, when you're looking at SendJim, what are the pain points? What are the problems that each of those industries are focused on? And what are the problems that can be answered? In other words, there's two key things that happen within any sale. It's a logical equals higher than your MSRP, and then your emotional has to equal higher than your MSRP. And so when you're looking at each of the industries, you've got to understand what are their pain points, what are their problems, and then what is that solution that you can come across. So what emotional value are you providing, or what emotional challenge are you providing to them that's going to fix that, that your solution is actually going to just take away that. It reminds me of the old commercial, the MasterCard commercial, where it talks about, I spent $5 on hot dogs or $100 on hot dogs, whatever it was, and $100 on the game. And, like all of this stuff they go down through. But at the very end, what do they say? Time spent with my family equals priceless.
Oh, so true. Because it's just a credit card.
It's a freaking credit card, but they're attaching so much emotion.
Yes.
There's so much emotion attached to that. And that's the same thing. It's just a stupid credit card. But hey, what emotional challenge are you going to be able to solve with SendJim? And let me just, again, totally off the top of my head. When I look at that, have you ever, I'm sure probably a lot of guys, I don't know the exact words, but what do you call it when you actually go around and you hang door hangers on 5 or 10 or all the neighbors?
Well,
what's that?
Our key word in our industry is a 5 around or a 10 around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're doing a 5 around, 10 around. What happened if you actually are really struggling, you need a lot more business, so now you have to do a 50 around? How long is that going to take you through the day?
Too much time, because we have another job scheduled right after it.
Bingo. Okay, so the challenge is, number one, time. Number two is because of that fact that you're actually taking time away and actually have to do it, you're not actually doing the job that you're supposed to, so therefore you're not making money. In addition to that, if you were to actually do it, you would have to actually start canvassing a lot more neighborhoods, which means it's now more time away from your your family. It's missing birthdays. It's missing baseball games. It's missing concerts. It's missing all of that. SendJim will give you the ability to be able to spend more time with your family. Yeah. It will give you the ability to be able to start making more money without and focusing on the actual making of money rather than trying to go out there and find leads.
It's so good. And it's funny because you had like no prep time for that question. I just like cannonballed you and hit you like as we're recording. And then, what a great answer. What a great breakdown. It's incredible. I really think I failed a little bit on that whole part. Like, it's so obvious when you say it, but I haven't connected with the emotional side correctly. Like, and there is pain in my life. Like when I stayed out till dark doing flyers and I could only, and then there'd be a storm and it would blow half of them away and then it would rain on my flyer. Yeah. And then me and my wife are arguing because I'd make her go with me and we're fighting and I'm like, put down the price on the flyer, just put it in the mailbox. And we're just, the stress, it's real. It's real. And I haven't connected with that. I think I spend too much time on like features and stuff like, well, we have this button and you can send a postcard but that doesn't have the emotional.
I've been there, man. I've been there. Like one of my first businesses that I had was a flooring company, and I've been exactly in those shoes. And I remember so clearly, I let my wife down in probably one of the biggest fashions I've ever let my wife down. And I regret it, corrected it, but I let my wife down. She scheduled a family portrait time because we didn't have a whole lot of money back then. And so she scheduled this. It was through our church, and we were going to get our pictures taken, and I didn't show up for it. And I remember the pain and just the way that my wife was absolutely crushed because I was out marketing or I was out doing something, feeling like I was actually building a business. And my excuse was, I'm building it for my family. I'm building it because of them. But I was letting my family down because I wasn't spending time with them. And they're going to look, they looked at me, especially my wife at that point. Kids were really young. We looked at me and they were like, or she looked at me and was like, I don't care. I don't care about all of the money. I don't care about, I need you. I need that time with you. Oh. And that was a huge revelation for me. And I've committed to changing those things, but I can just imagine, I'm sure there's no doubt in my mind that somebody in the audience, somebody listening to this has been there, has felt that pain. And they're like, holy crap.
Oh, I know they have, Tim. It's so good. It's the age old argument between husband and wife.
Joshua, don't miss this. Don't miss this. This is huge. That pain is how you create a solution with SendJim. Because that pain is so real. That pain is so intense. You're going to solve a family crisis, a family emotional crisis by using SendJim. It's a set it and forget it, man.
Yeah.
Sorry to use that, but
call now 1-800. We'll double your offer in the next 12 minutes.
But seriously, I mean, you're solving that issue. You're solving that emotional pain. I mean, holy crap, is that priceless? To be able to spend more time with my family, to go to the baseball games, football games, whatever games, concerts, to be present with my family, that is priceless for me. And I'm sure it's that way with everybody else. And there's got to be at least a dozen other ones that are like that. But that one just is like, boom. I mean, like revelation time right there.
It so is. I can't believe I haven't looked at it like that. I think I've been too much in the trenches. Like, we talked in the beginning how you're down in the war, stabbing stuff and surviving, and you can't see the obvious. And I think for myself, because I always tell people there's these 5 stages of business growth, and I coach them and I help them, and it's so clear, and it's so clear to me. But I'm literally like in the fire of this business. I've started over. I had a lot of success with my service company, sold it, moved to Costa Rica, did very, very well, totally automated it. But that's gone now, and now I'm doing this. This is my new passion, my new project. And I am in the middle of the war still. And so it speaks to your point.
Yeah, let me sum that up. You're emotionally attached to your business. And when you're emotionally attached to your business, it's very hard to be objective about it. Because you're so focused on everything that happens inside of the business, what needs to be accomplished. You're so focused working in your business that you can't work on the business.
That's right. And that's the exact thing I preach against with all the service companies I help. Yeah, because you get stuck.
Yep.
And
you just don't see it. And you don't realize it until somebody comes and like, hey, look, over here. Yeah, just real quick, look at this. And you're like, oh, dude, I can't believe I forgot. And you know it. Like everybody knows it. But it just takes that extra outside view to all of a sudden say, oh, my goodness. I don't want to get off too far, but there's one other thing, because you asked about how to actually build SendJim. That number one is the industry and how you would actually talk with the industries. Number two is affiliates. And what those are, again, just people that drive traffic. Once you have an offer, most of these affiliates have huge audiences. They've got huge amounts of traffic. They know how to present it. They'll know how to actually sell it to them. As long as you've got an offer and a landing page that they can drop on and actually convert, it's just like a referral. In any other business, you have friends and family that refer you because you're doing a great job. That's truly what an affiliate is, only on the internet. And it's online marketing.
And I think everything you've told me that we've been talking about, and sorry everybody to go down the whole Send Jim road, but I'm just being real here, and it's such a good conversation. But all this applies to you. All this applies to the guy with the window cleaning business in Kentucky and the hardwood flooring business in Pennsylvania. Like, all this is valid. And I think affiliate, it sounds like an internet marketing word, but honestly,
referral.
Like, how is your affiliate network for your service company? Like, who are the influencers driving traffic to you? Do you have them listed somewhere? Are you intentional about networking with them? Are you intentional about, cultivating a relationship? Because if you grow that foundation of influence, I call them influencers, but it's the same thing as affiliate.
Yep.
It's going to cause a tidal wave of momentum in your business.
Yep. Like BNI could be an affiliate. I know a lot of people are in the business networking. I forgot what the I stands for, but the BNI groups where they meet once a week and they all pass leads back and forth. That's referrals. That's affiliates.
Yeah, a lot of people fail in that because they're takers. They join things as takers. Gimme.
Right.
Not how can I add value. Anyway, that's a whole nother side note. But
that's a whole nother topic. Yeah. That's maybe another podcast. But yeah, that's the other key thing is just making sure that you optimize on the affiliates, especially with Send Jim. You've got such a great product. There's a lot of things that in the internet world, it's called joint ventures. You just pay them for the lead. You pay them for the leads that convert. In your world, it's probably called referral. You pay a referral $20 for a lead that converts. It's the same thing. It's just how do you talk about it? And again, that's why I go back to the fact that every industry has its own language, and you have to understand that language. And once you understand that language, you can make huge waves in any industry that you set your mind to.
Well, we've talked about building an avatar of your perfect customer. We've talked about targeting people and not doing interruption marketing, but doing life marketing. Where are they at right now at this time of year, at this point in their life with their home and their service? Like, how can you slide into where they're at in their life with your messaging? We've talked about affiliates and referrals. We talked about getting clarity by really getting outside perspective and having someone on the hill to talk to while you're down in the weeds. We've talked about tons of stuff. And Tim, it's been incredible. I want to make sure people can connect with you too, because I have a feeling they're really going to like this. I'm loving it. How can we learn more about you, what you do? How can you help people if they want to connect with you?
There's a couple of things. Just depends on what you like, and I find that everybody connects on different levels. But there's two things specifically that I find have been most common. Number one is I have a website, and it's just my name, timcroll.com, TIMCROLL.com. Super simple. On there, you'll actually find a little bit more about my story, who I am. As far as let's connect, there's ways to be able to get connected in there. The one thing that I would offer out on that, Joshua, we took 15 minutes and just talked about your business real quick, and I offered a couple pieces. I'd be willing to offer that out to your audience, and if it's something we can help with, there's a few questions that if you do want to schedule 15 minutes, I would ask that you make sure you fill out those questions so I don't get a cannonball. But I'm okay with cannonballs. But yeah, so that's one way. The second way is I use Facebook for business. I tell you what, if you're on Facebook, I highly suggest you kill the news feed and just leave the chat open. That's what I do. But I can definitely connect with people on Facebook. And again, Tim Croll. And we can leave links in your podcast to be able to connect either on Facebook, or we can put the .com on there. It's up to you.
Well, I didn't expect you to offer that, Tim. And I hope people understand. You're saying that you'll talk to them about their business for 15 minutes for free.
Correct.
Even though you're a guy who's built $7 million a month businesses and you have all this life, that's great. Are you sure? Because I can edit this out. Do you know what you're getting yourself into here?
Yeah, no, I'm willing to do that, because here's what I really firmly believe is that there's an essence of a give and a take, and you can either live a life of a closed fist, or you can live a life of an open hand. A closed fist, you never have anybody put into it because you're hanging on to stuff so tightly. An open hand, sure, somebody's going to come in and steal. Somebody's going to come in and hurt you. But an open hand allows you to accept a lot more, and it allows people to be helped a lot more. And that's really, I think, especially as we're all on this journey in life, it's more about helping others rather than keeping everything as a tight fist. So yeah, you have to schedule it via my scheduler though, because I can't just open up and if it ends up filling up really fast, you might have to wait a week or two because I've only got a certain amount of time that I can dedicate to it. But I'm willing to give that to you guys for, just for listening, I guess.
That's awesome. Super.
You had to make it to the end of the podcast in order to hear that, right?
Yeah. Well, I hope anybody that takes you up on that takes it serious, doesn't waste your time, comes prepared, because you can add massive value to them. So thank you for doing that. And just go to timcroll.com, everybody. That's TIMCROLL.com. And you can connect with my buddy Tim, at least till he shuts it down after 100 people sign up. But we'll see how it goes, Tim. And appreciate your time.
See, but it's got to be on that calendar.
Yeah, go to Tim Croll, schedule it online, everybody. Tim, thank you for your time. Hope you have a great Northern Michigan day. And we'll talk to you really soon.
Awesome.
Hey, thanks for hanging out, friends. And from all of us here at the Quick Talk Podcast team, we hope you loved today's show. We hope that you were inspired to become a doer and not just a listener. Apply what you've heard today in your own business and watch things change for the better. Lastly, remember that all the money in the world can't save your soul. Seek first the kingdom of God, my friends. We'll see you next time.
For more information about the Quick Talk Podcast or Joshua's other businesses, visit our website, quicktalkpodcast.com. Have a blessed day.